if I traded it all.
My next guest, I have never had on the show before. I have with me Jack Martin, and he has with him Nate Petit, if I said it correctly.
You did.
They are the founders of 5210. Welcome to the show. I know that you're here to educate and tell everybody a little bit about what you do and what we're going to talk about today.
Well, thanks, Carol. I appreciate you inviting us on the show. So what we're here to share with your listeners is probably something that they've never heard of before. So what Nate and I have done together, Nate and I have about 40 years of real estate experience, and we built a company around a unique investment strategy that was specifically designed to work even in recessionary times. So it's something that's unusual. It's something that most people have never heard of. So if your listeners are out there and they want to hear about something unique in the investment space, that's what they're going to hear on this little segment here. When we look at investors and what they're looking for, there's really four things that they're seeking. And the first thing that's important to investors is, am I going to lose money? Is this investment that I'm looking at, is it possible that if the market shifts or something happens, can I lose money? So that's the most important lens that we want to look at investments through. The second thing is there growth that's in excess of inflation? So it doesn't really do you any good if you invest in a CD that makes 1% if inflation is 3%. You're losing money every year, yeah? The third thing is how, this is the part people get excited about. How much money can I make? You know, what are those checks in the mail going to look like? What kind of cash flow or what kind of income am I going to get? And then, of course, if you want everything, the fourth thing is this going to be free of any fees? So is the ongoing fees that you usually see in most investments, is that going to dilute my yield? And when you look at the options out there that exist today, most people are familiar with stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. We all remember what happened in 2008. We all remember what happened in the dot-com. So absolutely, if the market goes up, you'll make money. If it goes down, you lose money. Even in real estate, we're real estate guys, and we've been involved in just about every type of real estate that exists out there. If you back up 10 years, there was a foreclosure on every street.
Yeah.
So we know there's a lot of people that lost money in real estate during that time. And then, of course, there's commodities like oil and gas and gold and silver. And the same thing, I think the point to share with your listeners today is that if your investment makes money when it goes up and it loses money when it goes down, that's pretty typical with investments. So what we were asking ourselves is, where's the investment that it makes money when it goes up, but it also makes money when the market goes down? Where's the investment that doesn't lose money when there's a recession or when the market crashes? Where's the investment that still gets you a check in the mail? You're still getting your income when the market's down. So, and we found that through a very unique real estate strategy that I'm going to let Nate share. It's mobile home parks.
Well, that's interesting, and I'm fascinated by it, okay? We are live on Facebook, so I do want to say hello to everybody out there. Like us, follow us, and this information, I love that. I love my show for this, is that it is informational. And I want to ask you, Nathan, why mobile homes?
I think you've got to take a step back for a second. When we tell people that mobile home parks are actually one of the most kind of recession-proof types of real estate there is, we get some pretty interesting reactions.
Like what?
It's considered kind of a real estate that people wouldn't want to own the homes. And that's the first thing that comes to them. So I think that's probably the most important thing to know about the mobile home parks in general. The goal is not to own the homes. So let's take a step back for a second. Say, if you like real estate and you want to own real estate, you like real estate, but you're not quite sure what type of real estate, it's pretty easy to say, geez, there's a whole sea of options out there. You got the major food groups, I would call them office, industrial, retail, apartments. There's a whole slew of them outside of that. So if you say, geez, what if you had to take a stop and pause and say, what's going to be the type of real estate that would weather the downturn, that would carry my investment through the downturn, it might be tough to figure that out. But when you look at all those different types of food groups, I like to say, what causes people to stay there? If you've got resident or tenants in an office building, what's going to keep them staying there through a downturn? The same with retail. The same with apartments. And if you take a look at all those options, I think the answer when you roll back is there's nothing really keeping them there. They don't have a vested interest in staying in that office space. If things get bad, pick up all the office furniture and you can get out. So those are also all investments where the resident or the tenants, if things get bad, they can get out, but they're not necessary to keep your business running.
So why do people stay in mobile homes?
Well, I'll let Nate keep going here, but that's the unique thing about mobile home parks that separates them from every other kind of real estate that's out there.
So let me get down to the reason on the mobile home park. So if you think about an apartment, there's really no reason why that person can't move across the street, save $50 in rent and a free month rent. That's perfect. I'll move across the street. In a mobile home park, the residents own their homes. This is a huge distinguishing factor. So in mobile home parks, mobile home park owners typically own the land, and the resident who owns their home parks their home there. So when things get bad and they want to move across the street, they really can't. So here's the challenge. It costs a lot of money to move that home across the street. So when things get bad and everybody else around them is maybe dropping rent, it's tough for those residents to move. So when you've got residents that want to stay there and they're vested in that mobile home park and they're invested in their home, then there's a really good reason why they're going to stay.
Absolutely. It makes a lot of sense. Really?
Well, there's a couple other things about mobile home parks that are kind of neat. Well, first of all, it's the cheapest place. It's the most affordable option that exists in real estate. So if someone moves out of an apartment and they're looking for a half-price deal on their rent, they're going to go to a mobile home park because that's the cheapest place. Where does the mobile home park tenant go? They could go home to the basement with mom and dad, or they could go to jail. That's cheaper. But from a investment perspective, or from affordable living perspective, that's the cheapest solution that there is. So there's a lot of reason why people like living in a mobile home. Part of it is that they don't have any neighbors right next to them or above them or below them. They get to park their car in the front yard. Now, mobile home parks have kind of a stereotype of being trailer trash, but you'd be surprised. There's some pretty doggone nice mobile home parks out there.
I know. There's a lot of them out there that I've seen, and a friend of mine was looking into it, and I understand what you're saying. Now, you do free consultations with people, and you work with people valley-wide.
Yes.
And I think this was what they want to do, is have you go to their website and check out what they're talking about. It's informational for you all out there listening, and interest about it, you can talk to them and they can sort of guide you through of how it works. Again, that website is 5210.com, and it's 52 then TEN.com. Real quickly, just why do you say 5210?
Well, that's kind of a neat thing. So Nate and I are buying 52 mobile home parks over the next 10 years. That's where we got our name from.
Awesome.
So we named our business after our goal. So all of these also end up being 10-year investments. So one of the things that I share with people is that mobile home parks are inherently, because of how they behave, they're long-term investments. So we partner with private investors. Now, we're not offering an investment here. We're teaching. I think that once you know that this mobile home park strategy is the recession-resistant type of investment, so when the real estate market crashes and the stock market crashes and the economy goes back to where we were in 08, 9, 10, mobile home parks still perform. They still churn out cash flow. People who are invested in mobile home parks end up still getting checks in the mail. So that's what makes it really neat, especially for retirement flavor investors.
So I'm going to ask you, you're looking for investors to talk to them and show them how to do this.
Sure. So what we're looking for is to educate people so that once they get familiar with the strategy, then they can understand how to invest in mobile home parks, yes. So,
okay, we only have a couple of minutes. I know we can go on forever with this. You want to check it out. It's 52, then TEN, 5210.com. And real quickly then, Nate, so we built, you kind of built this so that it was for a retirement option for people and to learn about this that they may not know about. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so anything that you want to go over other than that, because I want to make sure that you get out everything that you wanted to say for today.
Well, I think that the thing to share with you is that anybody out there, well, first of all, people don't know they can invest in real estate with their retirement account. So that's interesting that with the about half of the people that work with us and connect with us, they're investing with their 401k or their IRA. We do that all through a self-directed IRA. And we got all the pieces to put that together. We don't actually handle that. We have a partner that does that for our clients.
We have a lot of investors that listen to this station, and so again, it's something that I think that is wonderful to talk about. Not many people do. I've been doing this show for over 10 years, and I don't think I've ever talked about, investing in mobile homes. Once maybe, I don't even remember, but really it is very interesting. I'm glad you're here. I know you're going to be coming back again to talk further about this. They're here to educate you. You want to check out their website. It's 52, then TEN, 5210.com. They're valley-wide. They do free consultations. And what are your final words real quickly?
Yeah, mobile home parks is just a great place for people who are seeking an alternative option to the stock market.
It's 5210TEN.com.